We are live. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Anyone out there?
Yeah, is anybody there?
Is anyone there?
They're probably all still working. I think that's the trouble, isn't it? It's just so difficult like tonight. So I am Keith Owen.
And I'm Michelle Marshall.
And go on, Michelle. I'll jump in.
And
there.
you're walking. You're watching Hair Talk and More.
I love it. Hair talk and more. Yeah, you're walking or hair walk and more.
Walk the talk.
Yeah, walk the talk. It's great to have everybody on. First of all, I think that's the main thing. So it's nice to stop for a second and to get a little bit more out of our short time we're going to be spending up on here tonight. If you've got any questions or comments about how your week's been in particular, I think that's one of the things we're looking at tonight. Is it's our first week back after lockdown. And it'd be really interesting to find out how you guys have got through your first week. What's some of the things that you've done to maybe differently from the times that you've done before. So if you're watching now or if you're watching a little bit in the future, just jot them down on there because I know myself and Michelle will say for herself as well, but I'm pretty sure she'll be interested to find out how you've been doing it as well. So yeah, comments in the comments bar and we'll be able to sort of look at those and reply back to some of those if you decide to put something in there.
Fantastic. And I think this is week, I keep losing track and we need to keep a track because I think it was episode 7, episode 8 last week and episode 9 this week. That's crazy.
Maybe what you need to do, have you got Michelle's gone out and bought a new tool. I best expand on that.
Yeah. Explain what tool I've been out buying.
You bought that tool. So what we need to do then, each week we could actually put down where we are and then we can just rub it off each week, can't we? Know exactly where we're going and stuff.
Because somewhere in the future, when we're old and wrinkly and on our Zimmer frame, we'll want to reminisce.
What was it? Where are we? What are we doing? Where have we got? Yeah, it's like I said, we can't remember from one week to the next. I think with lockdown and stuff like that, it's been really difficult to get back into the swing of things. I mean, you've been going a little while now, Michelle. How's it been for you? I'm gonna talk about my experience going back, but you've been doing it for how many weeks now?
This is our 6th week. Yeah, 6th week. It's been good. It's now started to steady off. This is the time where we've had the mad rush. We're now back to some sort of normality where you have, the odd quiet hour. So it's kind of feeling more like it's getting back to normal. And I think because I've got 2 different salons in 2 different locations, it's quite interesting how very different, because the one's in a village and it's still, people still want to come somewhere out of town. There's still, there's more people wanting to go into town, but there's still that people are staying a lot more local people, local village. For local people,
it's all gone there. What's that?
Strangers allowed.
Oh, what is it? It's
one of my favourites, the League of Gentlemen.
League of Gentlemen, that's it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It's all a bit odd that when they all had like piggy noses and like. Yeah, it's mad. But like you said, I think certainly I've noticed that as well. Now that we sold our high street salon off and we're working from a pre-built part in our house that's now become a salon that we had to jump through some hoops through the council to get to a business premises. It's because it's out of the way, people are feeling more confident sort of coming out to a smaller venue where they haven't got to park up. So I completely get what you're saying about people wanting to go out and about a little bit more. What's it been like in town for you, sort of? Because the in town ones, obviously it's in a shopping centre thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in an old-fashioned Victorian arcade. And of course we opened before any non-essential retail was open, so the city.
That's because you're essential, Michelle, that's why.
We are essential. But it's swings and roundabouts, because yes, we were very busy, but you wouldn't have, if you relied on any footfall, you would have had no footfall, because there was nothing else for people to come out and shop. You know, I was talking with a barber that's got a barber. Do you know of Dirty Sanchez? Have you heard the name Dirty Sanchez? No?
I have, Michelle, but I've heard it for a really bad
Well, he owns
sexual from. I'll tell you what a Dirty Sanchez is after the break.
Well, he half owns a barber shop that's in our arcade.
Oh, sorry. Back in the room.
Compose yourself, Keith. Compose yourself. But I was talking to his business partner, and he was saying that for them, because they're a men's hair salon, and often a guy will go and have his hair cut while his wife is shopping, or they go out for the day and they pop and have their hair cut. In this current climate, they can't do it because of having to have an appointment, but also there was nothing open for anybody to be browsing and thinking, oh, I'll go and get my hair cut. So there was a bit of a double-edged sword with the atmosphere and how people were feeling about it, definitely from the city centre and other businesses.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's quite nice. You know, that's something I'm not going to get now, being out where I am. Is I'm able to rely on either speaking to yourself, or if I contact like the girl that bought our business from us, I'm still in contact with her. So I only really hear about other bits if I go out looking for it. So it's really good that you're in amongst it all now, be able to hear on the ground. You know, it's not just. I think sometimes you take a little bit more comfort out of the fact that you're either doing the right thing because you've got people, bookings and people coming in, and also you're understanding why it's not as busy footfall wise, and others are experiencing the same thing as well. But it sounds like you've really set up your business so it's more appointment booked, so you're never going to have that issue of God. It always helps when you get people coming past, but it's not like you're reliant totally on it.
But no, and you're quite correct. But the business that I took over was a walk-in salon.
Okay, right, okay.
So we were just fortunate that we'd had 6 months before we closed of really working hard to improve the bookings. So when we came back after first lockdown, we had to go straight into bookings. So we had to advertise heavily to tell people we were there, because it was a walk-in salon. You know, I couldn't get over how you could. I've never worked anywhere that, apart from when I was about 18, that was heavily reliant on walk-ins, and I couldn't get over that you could go into work and there'd be only a couple of people seeing somebody's column.
Yeah.
And I'd say, well, I'm gonna, they had bookings in, I'm going into the office, and I'd go into the office thinking I'm going to be able to get on with what I've got to do, and I'd have to be called up, and I'd do at least 4 walk-ins, one after the other, of just people who just walk in. Can I get a haircut? And I've never experienced that before. So, there's a great part to it, but there's a negative side. Like you said, where you're based, more. What would you call it? It's more sort of in a.
It's suburban, I suppose, is the way to really say it. It's we're near some big shopping centres, like some really fairly big ones. But we're in a residential area, so it's not somewhere that you'd stumble across. It is a bookings only place that we've got. So.
And how have you found things? I know it's only the end of, the beginning of week 2, but how have you found the initial surge? Because I know that we talked after my first week. So how has it been for you?
It's been really good. I think what I've noticed, and it'd be really interesting for you lot out there if you can just tap in the comments bar. I know there's a couple of people watching us. I can see. I can't actually see what it is, but people have been more appreciative this time. I've had almost, I wouldn't say crying, but there's been some really emotional, like genuine emotional sort of expressions from clients. I mean, I think one of my favourite ones was a client. I've done her hair, and I must admit, I've only done probably about 5 women this week, and the rest of them have all been guys. I mean, so many guys coming in. You know, the guys have been smiling underneath. I've had messages afterwards on Facebook going, "Oh, I can't believe it. Well, thank you so much," which you never get off blokes anyway. They're always a little bit shy to do that. But I'd cut a lady's hair, and Louise had coloured a lady's hair. And it was a team effort, and her passing words as she went down the stairs and off she went to the car, I was like, "I love my hair." So she went off. And it was really nice to hear that from them. You know, like I said, I think we are a little bit more appreciated. I can't even speak because I've been so busy. Appreciated this week. Because I think the first lockdown was all a little bit of a novelty factor. We didn't know how long it was going to go on for. And then I think the second and third, it was almost like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back in again. So when you've finally got an appointment and you could come in and get your hair done, it was a really big thing. And I think one of the big things you really notice, and this is, you may well have found this yourself, I'll ask you in a second, is the fact that you can talk to somebody different yourself. It's not necessarily about, you know, it is about the clients coming in, but it's that that being able to converse with somebody that hasn't heard what you've been up to. And I know we've not been up to loads, so you can't do the been on holiday. It's at the moment, I don't know about you, the topic of conversation is have you had your first injection and which injections have you had? And then it's like, did you have a reaction? It's all been like that this week. But what are you laughing? What are you
I'm
laughing
because it's, at the door, feeling well today? Come on in, take your temperature. Get done. Have you had the injection? Oh, yeah, I've had. Oh, I'm on my first. I'm on my second. It's just hilarious, hey? It's
so nice. I think people are talking about it in a real positive way. I think that's the thing I like about it. It's, and because I'm a little bit younger, and the only reason I've had 2 injections is because I was working for the NHS whilst we were off. So it's quite nice with my older clients coming in going, "Oh, I've had my first injection. I got my second injection next week." And I go, "Yeah, I've had both of mine." And they're always like, "What? How have you managed that?" How have you managed that? So it's like that one-upmanship. And I always remember my dad always said to me, he said, the trouble is when you get older is that you end up talking about your ailments and what pills you're on. And I think with this lockdown and the injection side, I think that's the topic of conversation now. We've got nothing else to talk about, so it's injection wise. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, how did you find? I said earlier with my clients, they seem to be a little bit more. They're always appreciative anyway, but they seemed this time round more appreciative than last time. How did you find it?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Everyone, both teams said exactly the same, and I found with my clients, or my guest John Towler is put a comment there for you. They hope you can't see him right now.
I was in the bath, I think. Look, let's just get John's comment up. So there we go.
Oh yes, I can see the bath. I can just about make out the bath.
Oh dear, what's he like?
In the bath, having a good soak.
Get that down quick.
No, and I definitely agree. We found that this time, we thought last time was quite overwhelming, the way that people made, and the team was saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe how overwhelmed everything is." But this time, like you said, it was even more. And quite a few people had said to me, "Oh, you went a bit scissor happy last time, but I'm really appreciative that you did."
I'm the same.
I said, "Oh, did I?" She said, "Oh, you gave me a Michelle cut last time." And I said, "Oh, what do you mean?" She said, "Well, when you get into it, you just don't mind cutting hair off." And I'm like, "Oh, was it really that short?" Short, I had to raise my eyebrows.
Oh, shit, raise her eyebrows. I love it. I think the thing is, though, I love the fact you've got a name. Like they've given it a name. It's a Michelle cut. It's like, "Oh, you've given me a Michelle cut." It's it's obviously a known haircut locally to you, then, Michelle. Well,
I think, and I know we've talked about this. That myself and you like to chat. I think it's the more you get into a really good, you're texturizing, and before you know, you've taken an extra 3 inches off.
Come on, oh dear, sorry. Yeah, God, I've done that before. Yeah, you get to the end of the haircut. I mean, I've done it sometimes when I finish the haircut and I'm convinced it's not that short. And then they come in next time and you look at it and you're thinking, fucking hell, that's really short.
And well, I don't want as much taken off as last time. No, I don't think we better. Did I cut it last time? Haven't you trimmed anything off yourself?
Almost convinced. You did trim a bit off yourself, aren't you? Trying to convince. Yeah, I mean, I've done that before, and I've said, they've gone, it's it's just about the right length now, and I'm like, was it a bit too short last time? They're like, yeah, it's a bit too short.
Don't they say I've been Keithed?
No, I haven't. I've just said that when I'm making bookings now, this is what I'm saying. Do you want to go 1 lockdown or 2 lockdowns this time? So, we'll book in your appointments and we'll cut your hair accordingly to the type of lockdown that you think we may. Well, I don't think we have any more now, but
no, I don't think we will. But I've had the same thing. I don't make sure I don't know, say somebody's just needing their regrowth done. They say, I'll have a gloss as well, because just in case I can't come back, people are a bit, they're so appreciative, like you said, but also very anxious that this could be the only slot that they get. If anything was to, I don't think so. Do you? What's your impression?
I don't. I mean, I think it depends on who you speak to. I mean, my first client this morning was scared. She's 77, I think, 76, 77. It was mainly because I think she's having all her hair cut off, so she was really nervous about it. But she went from like this sort of length, she had it cropped really short. It looked brilliant, it looked really good. And of course, I forgot to take a before and after photograph, which is just typical of me. She was just really nervous.
You're going to have is some ring light shots next week for when we go live next week.
Oh God, no! Don't do that to me. She was just really nervous still. I think because she's, for a year, nearly 18 months, she's, people have been made to feel really frightened about what may or may not happen, and it's going to take a long time for them to get over that. And the fear of possibly harming somebody. I think that it's been and again, this is just my opinion. I'm coming at it from working in the NHS and working for volunteering for the Samaritan. So I come from some sort of angle on it. It's really unfair to make people feel fearful of something and make somebody feel scared. And I think that's what's happened for a lot of people. But with a vaccine that's supposed to be to stop spreading and stop people going into hospital, then we're in a situation now where unless the government have completely cocked up, they can't really go back on it now. And I'd be all the other lockdowns. I've been a little bit like, no, I don't really want to go into lockdown, but I've done it because it's it's expected thing. However, I must admit, if we were asked to go into another lockdown now, I'd struggle to do it. I really would, because financially, if I'm completely honest with everybody out there, I don't think I could afford to do another lockdown. This one was tight. Lucky enough, we got a little bit of savings, and we had to dip into stuff that I'd rather spend on, boring things like getting kitchen cupboards sorted or getting things painted or this, that, and the other. But that went on like everyday living, and I think it comes to a point where the government can't keep bailing this out, and we need to get back to normal. So I don't think it will. No,
I can't see how they would. I really don't think that we would. I think this was they really didn't want this one, but there was no other way to get us through the winter. There was no other way. So now that everyone's got the vaccines, or they're rolling out the vaccines. I mean, did they say what was the percentage they last said about how many people in the UK have had their first vaccine? It's a really high percentage compared to the country.
They've rolled it out super fast, and it's good. And like I said, it's certainly giving people the confidence to come in. I think we're going to get to a point soon where we're going to be tipping over that edge of there'll be more people vaccinated than not, and then you're getting into other stuff. I'm talking about stuff I don't really know about, to be honest with you, but I think it's definitely better than last time, and I can't see it going into a lockdown. But it's we've done a slightly different back to work this time. We didn't do 8 days straight, which is what we did the first time round. So I think everyone was a little bit like, oh my God, we need to get as many people in as possible. But this time round, we normally only work 3 days a week anyway. So we've got up to a full working week of 5 days. Everyone else out there going, I'll do that all the time. It's no different, mate. Yeah, Michelle, so you're saying like, yeah, I do that.
I don't do that. No, but I am with you that, that first 2 weeks I did extra hours as well, just to get some sort of normality back, but not to, like a lot of people, like you said, were doing like 8, they were doing the whole 7 days, long nights. And what you've got to potentially think of, and say if you don't agree or you agree, and it'd be great if anybody's watching now or on replay to pop any of your thoughts into the chat bar, especially on the subject that Keith said about how you'd struggle whether or not there's another lockdown. Do you agree with it? Would you struggle? Would you financially need to just get on with it and go against the grain? I don't know, it'd be really interesting to hear people's thoughts. But also doing all of those hours, making everybody absolutely shattered, will only make people ill, will only make people have more sick, and will only mean that you've got a shelf that drops off at the end by just eking it out by the time. Because I was saying to the team, if we get everybody potentially in such a short time frame, they're all going to be due back at the same time. We need that spread so that everyone can cope with it. So is that kind of the thing that you were contemplating this time, Keith?
You've hit the nail exactly on the head. I think an 8-day week, 1 week, and then you've got to think most people want to book in 4 to 6 weeks time. So you're going to have the same situation happen in that amount of time afterwards. And Louise has done all our bookings. So we initially put out a date that was before the 5th of April. So it gave us a couple of weeks because, our lovely clients, bless you, if you're watching, it's great. You're all really keen to get in, which is even more fantastic. But as soon as dates get announced or even whispered, everybody's on the phone to you. So by us giving out we're getting contact with you from this date forward, we found that it stopped that initial amount of phone calls and emails and text messages from people going, when are you open? When are you open? When are you open? So that worked really well. But it meant behind the scenes we could start contacting people. So it just sort of kept everything at bay a little bit.
Yeah.
Got people booked in, and then when it got to the 5th of, I can't remember what day it was 2 weeks before that, we got everybody booked in pretty much. And then we then put an email out saying, if we've forgotten you or we've left you off the list, please contact us, because we've got a lot of people to get through. We might not get everybody. And I think Louise only missed one person off a list of like.
Oh, that's good going.
It was really good going. Really,
congratulations,
really good going.
Louise. When she's either watching now, or she's probably watching later, or if you watch it at all.
That's more the thing. She probably won't watch it at all. But yeah,
she nag.
Yeah, I'm like, you won't watch it. But yeah, I mean, it was well managed from that perspective. And again, because we decided we were going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're still laughing, off Thursday and work the Friday, Saturday, it just meant that week, although I'm doing longer days, it just means I've got a break. So it's working. It's been working well. And knowing that we've got that, we're doing a longer week for us over a period of time. So I think we've got this week, next week, and possibly the week after, where we're doing this 5 days and having 1 day off here and 1 day off there. However, how the bookings have been done, so we've allowed a little bit more time again in between appointments. So it means you can tidy up, clean up, and do all that stuff. But it does mean you can sit down for a minute, have a chat with whatever client's in with the other person as well, which is quite nice to do, to catch up with them. But just catch your breath, have a tea or a coffee, and you know as well as I do, there's been times in our career where we've not had lunch breaks. In fact, your lunch break is in between your shampoos and this, that, and the others, and you're just sort of trying to do things in between. It's really difficult. We don't really look after ourselves as well as we could do. So certainly having that break in between has worked well. And mentally, it's meant that I know it's busy, but I know I've got breaks in between clients, and I also know I've got breaks during the week. So that going backwards from a mental perspective has been a lot easier. But physically, I mean, my legs were killing me the first 3-4 days. What about yours? I mean, how were yours on the first few days? Were yours like aching or?
Absolutely. Well, there we are. Thursday, I did a 9 till 9. And I've actually rubbed the skin off between 2 of my toes. I've got a vertical split. I won't show you.
We want to see it now. Who wants to see Michelle's toe?
I've got a vertical split between my toes going up the side of one of my toes, where they were just like, obviously from standing so much and walking up and down the salon. Yeah. And my Kevin said, your skin's just gone soft. You need to toughen up.
This must be a bit like building. You know, when you got any mates or friends that are, builders, mates and friends, it's the same thing. And you shake their hands and they got real callousy hands. I mean, it's probably, like you said, the same with your feet. You've got to get to the point where your feet are hardened up a little bit.
Yeah. You've got to get him tough again. But definitely, I couldn't believe my feet. I got out of the car and I'm trying to walk through the house. Oh, it's not pretty.
It's good though. Like I said, yeah. And again, it's probably one of those things that, feet for us are probably one of the last things we think about unless we're going on holiday. Then it's suddenly, I need a pedicure. I need to get it looking good because I'm going away. But during the, we really should be doing it all the time with them. Innit? Poor old feet get a lot of, wear and tear. And also, I know a lot of hairdressers that like to wear some really good shoes. And normally really good shoes aren't that comfortable, aren't they? They're a little bit pinchy and a little bit sort of, maybe not the most practical of things.
No, well, I was in platform trainers, and that's what I thought would be really good because of the cushion and the sole. Yeah. But it's just that where I'm used to wearing my slippers. I've been used to slippers for 3 months.
You
only see us from the waist up when we're doing these live things. We're in our pajamas in the bottom half.
I've got nothing on below this. No. I've got stuff on.
You wouldn't even know if we had washed or brushed our teeth because you wouldn't know because it's not smelly vision. We have brushed our teeth.
No, I haven't brushed mine actually. I've been drinking gin, so I didn't want to have toothbrush tea.
And I think a nice little celebration, Keith. Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
Louise, you're watching on the end of or the beginning of week 2.
Everybody else in the UK, that's
fantastic.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. It's certainly been a good week. Michelle, we are coming towards the end of our little half an hour snippet here. Yeah, I know we've had a bit more going on. If you want us to continue, just stick something in the bar and we'll continue talking for a bit longer. But if we don't get anything in there, we should be signing off very shortly and letting you guys. Oh, let me just put cheers.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's saying cheers that we're going or cheers.
She's probably she's got some of her what is it that she likes, the Bacardi or the Captain Morgan's or the
no, it's
not that. What was it?
Kraken is her favourite. Kraken,
that's it.
Kraken. Anything rum based is Louise's favourite. She used to be a pirate many years ago. Yeah. But
nice.
Yeah, it's been great catching up with people. I mean, what are we gonna talk about next week, Michelle? Have we got anything planned? Are we going to see how it goes, or what are we doing?
I think we've got the guys. What we've decided, because everyone's gone back to work and because it's been fairly full on, that we've pre-recorded some great little chats or hair talk and more. But we're also got planned that we're going to be doing a shag demonstration of hair colour on a haircut. So we've got that in the back burner waiting for the right opportunity to be able to use it. And then I believe we've got Lucy Mayer joining us in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, I'm going to need to just confirm with her. I will make sure. Now, just for you guys, if you've heard of Lucy Mayer, or if you haven't heard Lucy Mayer, she's a fabulous makeup artist, a good friend of ours. and also a wife to our other very good friend Toby Meyer. So she's done some fantastic makeup for Redken and for other brands. She's worked for MAC. She's worked for various other companies as well. And we want to get her on to talk a little bit about makeup, skincare, for getting back into the salon and maybe looking after those parts of our face that haven't had maybe as much attention because we've been half covered with masks all the time. So Lucy's going to come on and talk a little bit about that, and I think it'd be a really great opportunity for any questions that anybody has regarding skincare and what they can maybe do to help their skin look better and feel better. Even if it's just quick tips, if we're still having to wear masks, on how to make your how to make your eyes look a bit more smoky. But how to I know what I'm talking about. Check me out. But smoky eyes, maybe just stuff in the eyes because you can't see the lips. So it's like you need to go heavy on the eyes.
Out there, you heard it here first.
Yeah. Well, I've done this job for far too long. We spent time, not far too long, but I'll be spending it with a lot of women over the years. So I know more than I probably should do. But Lucy's going to be on it hopefully the beginning of next month. So it'll be the first Monday back.
Which I think she should be on time, believe it or not. It's just gone so quickly.
Yeah, it's not a long way now. So I'll get in contact with her and just double check and make sure that she's coming on. But we'll post up some bits and bobs that we've either got recorded or if we can get back on again. And just let us know about the half an hour slots as well, because we're trying to see how people feel we're doing like this little sort of burst of half an hour slots, and maybe when we're doing something a bit more in depth in regards to colouring or cutting, we might just even that out to an hour again. But it'd be great to know what your thoughts and feelings on time frames and stuff in regards to sitting down and watching these things. So please.
And usually, we're normally 6 o'clock, aren't we? Where this is 8 o'clock this evening because of schedules with going back to work and making sure that we get our bookings in. But congratulations to everybody, not just to Keith and Louise, but congratulations everybody out there who's watching or listening to us on having your first week back. I know some of our European friends have been into lockdown again, and I noticed a couple of them posting that they're about a week away from opening back up. So it's exciting that we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, don't you think, Keith?
It's getting brighter. It's definitely getting brighter, and it seems to be a lot more definite this time round, which I think is a nice thing to find out. And I said, our European friends, if you're watching this, maybe tell us about maybe your not fears, but what are your apprehensions about going back? What are your excitements about going back? So we can find out if you were how we were, because we've got Michelle that's done it 6 weeks ago. I've done it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like a bit nervous and a bit like, I'm not so sure. But now I've started, it's really good. Yeah. Michelle's further down the line. She's like going, it's getting to some sort of normality again. So for those that are coming in from Europe and starting up again, it'd be really good to hear, where you are and how you're feeling about it. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been great to check in with everybody. But we're going to sign off in a moment. I think we've got a little interlude to play to sign us off, haven't we, Keith?
We have. So I shall get that queued up and ready to go. Remember, click subscribe, follow us, press all the buttons that you're supposed to press on all of these things. And if you can tell some more people about it and share the page on Facebook or on YouTube, it would be great if you could do that for us. It's really appreciated. And like I said, this platform is not just a place for Michelle and I to spend half an hour talking at you. It's an opportunity for you to share what's going on in your salon life and how we can help improve each other's work relationships, I suppose.
Yeah.
That sound all right?
Yeah, right. That sounds absolutely perfect. Perfect.
You've got all.
It's got to be perfect.
Yeah, no, but there was
perfect.
What was it?
What was it? The song?
No, it was a TV series. It was with Darling Buds of May.
Ah, yes, it was.
They used to say that, didn't they? It was like perfect. But we digress slightly, so we should say a goodbye.
We're wrapping up.
Thanks again, guys.
But we do it. Take care, everyone. I've been Michelle Marshall.
And I've been Keith Owen. You've been watching Hair Talk and More.
Hair Talk and More. See you next week.